You think kindness buys security. You think quick replies buy loyalty. In halls of power and in crowded chats, they do not. Availability feels generous, but it teaches a quiet lesson. Your time has no guard, so neither should their behavior. In a palace, in a startup, in a relationship, the same equation repeats. When you stand always at the door, they stop knocking. When you answer every message in seconds, they stop choosing their words. Warmth on demand becomes a toll you pay for the illusion of peace. Watch how it happens. The client who texts at midnight, just a tiny change, knows you will jump. The friend who cancels twice knows you will reschedule. The partner who keeps you in the blue bubble knows your day will bend. None of them needed a speech to learn this. They studied your pattern. People test the edges before they test their conscience. You did not need to fail loudly to be devalued. You only needed to be endlessly available. Machiavelli would not scold your heart. He would audit your optics. Power does not rest in intention. It rests in what people see and what they can get away with. If you mean well but present yourself like a public utility, they will use you like one. In courts, princes ration their face. They appear, then vanish. They speak briefly, then leave the room to let the silence amplify what was said. The scarcity is not cruelty, it is a signal. It tells the crowd, this presence is costly, treat it accordingly. Modern life hides its courts inside calendars and phones, yet the law holds. When your calendar shows open space for anyone at any time, you have announced your rank. When your status bubble is always green, you have offered your attention as a free buffet. People do not ask whether you deserve respect. They observe whether they must show it. Optics discipline behavior long before ethics does. They see you everywhere. They treat you like furniture, and furniture is moved without apology. Shift lenses. Stop explaining that you are just being nice. Ask instead, what did they learn from you? Did they learn that you protect your mornings, that you do not debate by text, that you end calls at the first raised voice? Or did they learn that persistence beats your boundaries and that drama buys an audience? Your motive does not teach, your pattern does. You do not need a fight to change the lesson. You need a frame. The cold frame technique is not a wall of ice. It is a greenhouse of rules. It engineers distance so respect can grow without heat or noise. You set response windows twice a day, not every minute. You cap access office hours, not open borders. You keep your tone warm, your timing slow, your decisions final. You appear on schedule, deliver value, and withdraw before familiarity eats the edge off your words. Practice it like policy, not punishment. When a late request arrives, you respond inside your window. When a dull insult lands, you do not correct the record. You let silence inflate the weight of their mistake. When someone tries to escalate, you decline the ladder. We'll revisit this Thursday. No lecture, no threat, optics only. Over time, people recalibrate to what you show. Scarcity becomes the teacher you could never be with speeches. You will feel guilt at first, as if distance were betrayal. It is not. Distance is the governor that prevents contempt. It is the space where your warmth keeps its flavor. It is the pause that turns access into a privilege again. You are not withdrawing love. You are withdrawing leakage. You are ending the subsidy that funded others' laziness and your own exhaustion. Let them learn the new lesson from what you do, not from what you explain. Appear with purpose, disappear on time. Guard your hours the way a prince guards a gate. Authority returns to those who ration themselves. Protect your peace with policy. A city without gates invites wolves. When you make yourself endlessly reachable, you are not building love. You are removing the walls that make love livable. False comfort feels warm in the moment, then cold in the accounting. It breeds dependency, invites tests, and replaces respect with a casual entitlement that eats the very tenderness you are trying to protect. The kindness trap begins with good intentions and ends with ruined margins. You over-communicate to calm anxiety, long explanations, instant replies, late-night reassurance. It feels loving. It trains people to skip effort. Why wrestle with a problem when your message summons a rescue? Why prepare before a meeting when you can text 5 minutes prior and get the summary? Each quick fix solves a feeling and sells a standard. Comfort wins the hour. Competence loses the week. Look at your own threads. The paragraph you wrote at 1:12 a.m. to clear things up. The voice note you sent from the gym to keep the peace. The Saturday you gave away because someone else ignored Friday. None of this started as manipulation. You taught it. When response time is always immediate, others stop preparing because your speed guarantees their safety net. When your tone is always soothing, others stop regulating because your calm will mop their spill. Reverse the arithmetic. Shorten messages, lengthen expectations, replace quick fixes with clear frames. Send the agenda by 5 or we push the meeting. I reply during posted hours. I can help once. After that, I help you plan. This is not cruelty, it is governance. Governance does not make people colder, it makes them competent. The more you do for others that they can do for themselves, the more you tax your future and cheapen theirs. Familiarity without loyalty is the modern sickness. People enjoy your presence while discounting your boundaries because you made access effortless. They like the feeling of you more than the structure that keeps you standing. You are the cafe with free refills and no closing time, busy, praised, and slowly going broke. Affection and reliability are not twins. Attachment and allegiance are not the same. Someone can love being around you and still decline the bill when respect is due. Why do they discount your boundaries? Because boundaries unannounced feel negotiable, and boundaries unenforced are jokes. When closeness arrives before rules, every no sounds like a mood. So they push, not out of malice, but out of habit. They learned that you would explain rather than enforce, that your lines bend under pressure, that your schedule is a canvas for their plans. Familiarity mutates into entitlement until your yes is assumed and your no is treated as a glitch. Give people something better than unlimited access, a predictable frame. Post the hours, post the method, post the price of ignoring both. Reliability creates a different flavor of closeness, slower to heat, harder to break. The ones who are here for you will adapt. The ones who were here for free refills will complain and drift. Let them drift. You are not a beverage. You are a well that must replenish to give. When peacekeepers create chaos, they think they are extinguishing fires. In truth, they are stacking timber. You rescue, you explain, you apologize on loop. Demands expand to fill the space that your self-respect vacated. The person who interrupts meetings learns that interruption is the fastest road. The partner who storms learns that storms move you. The colleague who forgets deadlines learns that your apology will arrive on their behalf. Drama grows from soft lines, not hard ones. Hard lines look cold and feel safe. Make your refusals small, early, and certain. A mild automatic consequence prevents the later rage you secretly fear in yourself. After 9, replies come tomorrow. 2 revisions are included. Further changes start a new phase. If you raise your voice, we pause and try again at 4. Don't argue with outbursts. Outlast them. Don't audition with essays. Point to the map. Storms spend themselves against stone faster than against pleading. Practice the discipline of the unsent message. Type the paragraph. Feel the heat leave your hands. Then delete and send one sentence that contains the policy. Long explanations are hospitality for manipulation. The more furniture in the room, the more places for tactics to sit. Empty the room. Let the rule be a chair, and the consequence be the door. Your fear is simple. If you stop being endlessly comforting, people will leave. Good. Absence audits intention. Those anchored by respect will recalibrate. Those anchored by extraction will search for a softer target. Either outcome reduces your chaos. And you will notice something else. Your warmth returns. It is hard to be sweet when you are exhausted. It is easy to be generous when your gates work. Run the simple experiments. Phone in a drawer during deep work. Watch your thinking rise like a clear tide. Posted hours for replies. Watch emergencies drop to their true number, almost none. One cancellation allowed. The third request moves to next week. Watch reliability grow because the calendar finally has gravity. Praise people for honoring the frame. Reward the behavior you want to see again with access that feels like a privilege, not a prize seized by pressure. Keep Machiavelli's calculus near. Early firmness avoids later severity. If you fear appearing harsh, remember what endless softness breeds a late, loud cruelty that arrives only after resentment ferments. Choose the medicine at the right dose. Administer it on time. The city you govern is your attention. Guard its gates so trade can flow, not so joy can die. You are not withdrawing love. You are withdrawing the subsidy that turned love into an all-night store. Close on time. Sweep the floor. Lock the door. Open again with a full shelf and a steady smile. The people who value you will line up at posted hours. The rest, things were just passing through. Boundaries first, then kindness. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. You want to believe your choices are free, yet rivals rarely seize your hands. They reach for the lever inside your chest. That lever was built when affection was scarce, when belonging felt rented, when shame arrived faster than help. Unmet validation needs harden into handles. Anyone who learns the shape can steer you without raising their voice. They do not argue with your logic. They whisper to your wounds. Watch the lever in action. A client hints they may rethink the project, and you rush to discount before they ask. A manager goes silent after your proposal, and you send 3 follow-ups, each more apologetic than the last. A date posts a photo meant to spark jealousy, and you sprint to prove your relevance. None of this is reasoned. All of it is compelled. Your inner court, terrified of exile, signs emergency decrees that surrender your time, your price, and your posture. Have compassion for the origin it kept you alive, but end the regime that keeps you small. You cannot rip the lever out, you can make it useless. Start by naming the need without drama. Approval, hunger, abandonment, fear, guilt, debt. When you can say, "That's my need asking for control," you install a governor on the engine. The lever no longer moves the whole machine, it merely rattles. Each time you hold position, no discount. One message, end of meeting. You lay brick over exposed gears until they are no longer available to strangers. Inner repair becomes outer sovereignty. Now, study projection and bait. Testers do not announce themselves. They throw signals calibrated to your wounds. Silence is a favorite weapon. A delayed reply after an intimate share invites you to chase, explain, and lower your price of access. Minor disrespect does similar work. The offhand joke, the eye roll, the forgot your name trick at an event. Jealousy cues are the deluxe model. Curated stories and strategic angles featuring polished alternatives to you, crafted to provoke panic bids. Each tactic pursues the same outcome, to make you move first and pay in status. Recognition precedes strategy. Write a short list of bait patterns that reliably hook you. Note the channels: midnight DMs, public jokes in meetings, ambiguous posts. Note your bodily tells: heat in the face, shallow breath, fingers rushing to type. When you can label a moment as bait, you buy the first second of freedom, and the first second purchases the next hour. Treat bait like a stress test of your governance. First, name it. This is bait. Second, set a horizon. No response for 12 hours. Or, this resumes at 3 with notes. Third, demand symmetry. Replies meet replies. Investment meets investment. Respect meets respect. If silence is deployed, let silence breathe. If disrespect appears, call it once, then remove access. If jealousy, cues arrive, return to your plan and your people. Never bid in an auction staged to sell you your own value back at a premium. Make the analysis practical. In the office, an executive forgets your contribution in the room. Old pattern, defend at length, produce receipts, burn time and grace. New policy, one compact correction. To be precise, I authored the brief, then back to agenda. If the minimization repeats, escalate through structure. Send minutes with authorship recorded, copy stakeholders, attach deliverables. Courts, not quarrels. In freelancing, a client goes quiet after a draft and resurfaces with urgent changes and a rush discount request. You reply during your window and adjust scope or timeline, never price. In dating, a calculated slow reply arrives after your honest share. You do not chase. You mirror cadence, keep your projects, and allow your absence to do work your speeches cannot. Learn the signature of jealousy bait. It is conspicuous yet deniable. Tagged photos, vague applause for new energy, sudden stories featuring admirers. The goal is not connection. The goal is destabilization. Your counter is boring and lethal. Protect the cadence, feed your mission, and give attention only where attention returns. A stable calendar defeats a chaotic signal. Consistency is an armor many never penetrate. Now the price of ungoverned urges. Every impulsive text, quick defense, and clearing the air marathon squanders credibility. States earn respect by selective silence and punctual action. Leaders who chase rumors certify them. Leaders who respond on schedule define the weather. When you rush to explain, you teach observers that accusations are levers. When you pour your heart into a thread, you donate content to people who have not purchased context. When you keep arguing a price, you downgrade the product into a commodity. Reactivity is a clearance rack for your dignity. Install counters to compulsion. Write one rule: I answer on schedule, not on impulse. Pair it with tools, delayed send, response windows, templates for refusal. Use thresholds. No reply within 24 hours closes this offer. Demand deposits. Change scope, not price. Keep discussions inside structures that create records, agendas, summaries, agreements. Let the paper carry the weight your emotions want to shoulder. Precision bores manipulators. Boredom is your moat. Recruit the body to support your policy. When bait lands, do something physical before you do something digital. Walk, breathe, push the floor, drink water, step into sunlight. The body breaks the panic loop the mind often feeds. Create a ritual lag between stimulus and statement. Even 5 minutes of procedure notes, a drafted reply, a breath saves 5 days of cleanup. Remember, princes do not sprint to the courtyard every time a citizen shouts. They receive petitions at appointed hours, reward governed restraint with visible wins, track responses made on schedule, and deals kept at terms. Watch how respect accumulates when you ignore auctions for your dignity. Observe who stays when panic is no longer a product you sell. Your adversaries will shift tactics, that is proof your borders are working. Your allies will invest more clearly, that is proof your reputation is compounding. Expect protests from the old ministers. Fear, guilt, hunger for approval. They will predict exile if you stop bending. Some exits will happen. Let them. Better a clean departure than a slow bleed. The citizens who remain will adapt to the new law. Even the child inside you will calm as it learns that firm policy brings warmer rooms than pleading ever did. In time, the lever in your chest rusts from disuse. It never vanishes. It becomes a relic behind glass, a reminder of a prior regime. People still try the handle. It no longer moves anything of value. You still feel the tug. You do not follow it. Your day reads like a plan, not a reaction. Your price reads like a policy, not a mood. And your silence reads like strength because it is governed, not empty. Rule yourself first, then the room. Let wounds inform you, never command you. Keep your refusals small and predictable. Keep your yes scarce and ceremonial. Mechanisms over moods, records over rumors, cadence over chaos. When the lever pulls, let it clatter against stone. Calm law over loud panic. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You once knew how. You sat at the center, and the world had shape. A short list, 2 hard priorities, a third if the day allowed. Then the borders frayed. You began checking faces like weather apps, watching tone shifts, reply speeds, the length of pauses. Your priorities migrated from the page to other people's pupils. Center turned to scramble. Your day became a corridor lined with microphones, every rustle of someone else's mood pulling you off course. The slide is quiet. You open the laptop to build, then flick to all the chat to clear the air. You ghost read, craft arguments to debates that haven't started, revise sentences not for truth but for applause. Minutes leak through hairline cracks. Your spine leans forward. Breath climbs your throat. The work that earns respect sits untouched while you play early warning system for storms that are not yours. Reactive living feels like running with mirrors strapped to your chest. Every reflection demands an adjustment. You tilt because they tilted. You smile because they frowned. By noon, your jaw aches. By 5, your neck burns. By midnight, you scroll for relief and call it research. Sleep is shallow, filled with courtroom dreams where you defend yourself without end. Morning brings a vow today you will hold the line. Then a ping lands and the line dissolves like salt. From center to scramble is also from voice to ventriloquism. You write what they want to hear, then resent them for not hearing what you never said. You attend meetings to monitor temperature, not to decide. You hoard proof screenshots, timelines, context because proof feels safer than policy. But proof is a museum exhibit. It does not move the city. Policy moves the city. Without it, you live in the gallery, curating your defense to visitors who came to be entertained. Then comes the humiliation supply. You chase closure, like a missing receipt that will finally make the cashier honor your return. You craft the perfect message, the final explanation that will at last make sense to the person who profits from your confusion. They do not want closure. They want leverage. Your pursuit is their spectacle, the once composed ruler now bargaining publicly for crumbs of reassurance that expire within hours. Humiliation is often quiet and mathematical. A person cancels late again, and you answer warmly, then offer their preferred time next week. The numbers speak. Your hours are priced beneath theirs. Another asks for context they already possess. You generate a document anyway. Again, the numbers. Your effort is the faucet, their respect is the cup. Overflow returns to you as fatigue. You call it thoroughness. It is a subsidy. Subsidies invite more demand. Clinically, shame converts energy into compliance. After you feel the red heat of being too much, you pay it off by being less. You shrink where you need to stand tall. You over-explain to people who have no incentive to understand. You act sweet after being sharp, not as virtue but as penance. The market reads your behavior and sets a new rate. Your apology becomes a coupon for further trespass. The crowd enjoys the show because it confirms the story they prefer, that you will trade dignity for quiet. Next arrives the credibility cliff built from reasonable-looking slips. Monday, you say, "This cannot happen again." Tuesday, you accept the same act for calm. Wednesday, you draw a hard line in private and a soft one in public. Thursday, you threaten a consequence and replace it with empathy. By Friday, your words are programs from a play no longer showing. People stop taking seats. They wander the aisles, talk through your lines, and check their phones while you insist the show is still on. Crowds memorize patterns. If your no means, "Convince me," it will be treated as an opening bid. If your deadline means "Try your best," it becomes background music. If your consequence means "Let's process," it becomes group therapy. Hot, then cold. Threat, then apology. The pattern publishes a manual. Wait, push, wait, receive. Even good people will use the manual. It is efficient. The cliff has no rail. One day you are promising outcomes you cannot deliver to calm a voice that will not be calmed. You send a fifth message starting with "just to clarify" and ending with a concession disguised as clarity. You call it responsibility. In truth, it is a bailout for someone else's choices, paid from your reputation fund. That is when the room begins spending your name lightly. They smile at you while shopping for alternatives. Make the hard stop. You will not explain your way back to the center. You must govern your way there. Issue 3 orders and keep them. First, cut supply. Reduce your speech by half and your promises by 2/3. What remains must be exact. Second, post costs. Lateness loses the next meeting. Disrespect ends the exchange. A second broken commitment triggers a pause. No drama, only tariff. Third, recenter the stage. Schedule 2 deep blocks and guard them like borders. You are not unavailable, you are governing. Expect flares from those who fed on your rumination. They will cry foul, write essays, escalate tone. Do not trade essays, invoice. We'll reschedule next month. We'll revisit after you deliver your part. This resumes when we can keep it civil. The first week will feel like walking past a fire without a hose. Walk. Cities learn from what you do, not what you feel. Modern repairs prove the law. The manager who moves from explanation to specification cuts meetings and doubles outcomes. The friend who stops replying to midnight spirals and offers coffee at 10 watches, the spirals shrink to human size. The partner who ends looping debates and resumes with a written plan sees respect return, because the table finally has legs. Pattern is policy. Policy is mercy. Return to command, not performance. Choose lines you can live inside. Choose silence where you once performed virtue. Choose measured consequence where you once chased closure. The self that fractured into pleaser, explainer, fixer will reassemble when you stop supplying the theater that kept them on stage. Your mood returns to your own weather. Your day returns to the drum you set. Less talk, firm law. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Niccolò Machiavelli, keep the sentiment, change the method. You don't need to frighten anyone, you need to become legible. Replace the fantasy of romance as access with a clean rule. Love is loyalty to agreed standards. If they adore you only when you are on demand, they do not love you. They love permissions. Treat your life like a small state. Draft law. Enforce lightly, consistently. Reward alignment. Distance is not punishment. It is the boundary that preserves regard. Start with affection versus allegiance. Feelings are weather. Allegiance is a road. Feelings rise and fall with hunger, sleep, and mood. Allegiance is behavior under constraint. They keep the plan when it rains. They speak with respect when angry. They tell the truth when lying would be easy. You too. You show up at 7 because you said 7. You leave at 11 because you said 11. You don't trade the standard to calm a storm in the room. Examples make the lesson stick. A partner praises your spontaneity, yet every date slides late and every boundary meets negotiation. That is affection without allegiance. At work, a colleague praises your team spirit, then bypasses the tracker whenever tasks get messy. Kind words, zero allegiance. In friendship, the crisis-only caller thanks you with teary gratitude, then vanishes until the next emergency. Measure what is measurable. Publish terms. We plan the week on Sunday. We don't mock private wounds. We confirm by noon or the slot closes. Then watch the road, not the weather. If behavior matches the rule when it costs them, that is loyalty. If it matches only when easy, that is liking. Liking is fine. Build your life on loyalty. Now the distance question. People confuse distance with punishment because they mistake proximity for care. But a state that never closes its gates invites looters. Controlled space prevents contempt. When you pause after a breach, you are not sulking. You are cooling the scene so respect can re-enter. Familiarity without structure breeds cheap talk, lazy jokes, and small betrayals that rot the beam from inside. Space is maintenance. Use distance like a tool. After a sarcastic jab at your expense, you end the meeting on time and reschedule the topic for tomorrow. Not dramatic clean. In dating, when someone disappears for 2 days and returns with a meme, you put a day between the return and your reply, and you attach a term. We continue after a check-in call and a plan for the week. With family, when a sibling turns private conflict into a group performance, you move it 1-to-1 and delay until the heat drops. Always the same posture, low heat, clear terms, forward path. Distance also protects desire. When access is constant, attention becomes air everywhere, unnoticed, unpriced. Scarcity is not cruelty, it is physics. A message answered inside agreed windows carries weight. A visit earned by kept promises feels ceremonial. Order puts velvet ropes around your presence. The right people respect the rope. The wrong people argue with it. Good. Let the rope sort. Finally, shift from pleading into policy. Pleading tries to win hearts in the courtroom of mood. Policy runs a standard and lets people choose. You will be tempted to explain your rule each time, to write essays defending your dignity. Don't. Write the procedure once. Repeat it. Consistency is persuasion. Exceptions are where states fall. Make your calendar your law. Protect training, sleep, deep work, and recovery as state assets. If someone breaches, adjust access, not volume. You don't shout, you shorten the window. Client ignores the intake form. Longer lead times. Partner breaks a sacred rule, repair first, then closeness. Friend no-shows twice, afternoon coffee only, until reliability is proven. Keep the receipts with yourself, not to weaponize, but to govern fairly. Replace apologies with roots. Sorry I can't becomes, here's the channel and time that works. Sorry I'm busy becomes, I'm booked. Next window is Thursday at 4. Sorry for the boundary becomes silence. Boundary stands without a speech. Policy removes theater, so results can happen. People who want you will adapt to your map. People who want loopholes will wander off and call the map cruel. That is the map doing its job. Expect pushback from them and from you. The part of you that survived on approval will panic when the gate closes. Breathe and check the ledger. Did the rule protect respect? Did distance reduce contempt? Did policy produce reliability? Then continue. Lives grow calmer when law is boring. Your process should be boring. your outcomes, work quality, steadier love, deeper play should be the exciting part. This is Machiavellian not because it is cold, but because it is clear about incentives. People move toward what is rewarded and away from what is costly. Reward allegiance, price breaches, keep doors labeled and hinges oiled. You will not need to threaten. The structure will carry the message. Here we keep promises, here we talk plain, here we earn our way back. After we slip, return to the principle. Love is loyalty to agreed standards. Feelings decorate it, distance preserves it, policy delivers it. If someone cannot live inside rules that protect both of you, they want a theater, not a state. Leave theaters to actors. Build a state. I value allegiance, I price access, and I keep the treaty. Cold is a policy, not a mood. You are building a frame where distance is engineered, not improvised, so your decisions stay stable when emotions heat the air. Start with the architecture of absence. Availability is the most persuasive speech you give, so you script it. Audit your week and assign 2 response windows per day, late morning and late afternoon, 15 to 45 minutes each. Outside those windows, you are hard to reach by design. Cap real-time availability to a narrow corridor of stacked meetings, 90 minutes, same days each week, so interruptions have a predictable lane. Pre-commit to deliberate delays where impulse usually ambushes you. Same-day replies for logistics, next business day for anything money-tied, and a 48-hour buffer after major scope changes. Put the rule in your signature and status. Scarcity becomes predictable, therefore non-personal. Calibrate contact channels to match the distance you want. The inner circle receives direct messenger access and a booking link to reserved slots. The trusted circle uses email and a shared board with posted SLAs. The general circle routes through a form or an assistant with a 2 to 3 day window. Movement between circles is earned by conduct, punctuality, reliability, confidentiality, not sentiment. When someone tries to jump tiers, return them to the posted gate once, calmly. Use the listed channel so I can keep promises. Then stop debating. The gate does the talking. Pre-commit cooldown buffers after charged interactions. 10 minutes of silence before answering any message that spikes your heartbeat. 24 hours before replying to anything that affects money or public optics. Keep a card on your desk. Delay creates accuracy. Train allies to expect the buffer. I review contractual changes next business day. The delay is not avoidance. It is breath for judgment to catch up with impulse. Optics over outrage turns conflict into choreography. Use neutral scripts that move outcomes without theater. That doesn't fit my window. Let's keep the agreement or reschedule. Per policy, this is step 1. Warning. I hear you're frustrated. The rule still applies. Deliver the line once, maybe twice, and then execute the next step on your ladder. No adjectives about their character, no courtroom monologues. Certainty is quieter than anger and more expensive to ignore. Control disclosures with intent. Share enough process so people can orient your windows, your meeting corridor, your weekly silent stretch, but not enough detail for manipulation. Say, I'm in deep work until noon, not I'm drowning. Say, unavailable this weekend, Monday 10 a.m. works, not I need space. Neutral language leaves no handle for tugging. When outcomes must be explained publicly, reference the policy, not the person. We paused the project after 2 missed milestones, per the written ladder. The calm citation protects dignity while making standards visible. Exit quietly when the math is terminal. Do not escalate to win a feeling. Send the closure note at a measured hour. Given repeated breaches, we're ending the engagement Friday. Thank you for the work delivered. Outstanding items will be settled per contract. Then lock the gate. You referenced permissions adjusted, meetings cancelled, access keys rotated, and move attention to living projects. A soft door close outperforms a slammed one because people remember the door more than the noise. Leverage stacks keep the frame intact under pressure. The first stack is validation. Diversify the sources that feed your nervous system, so praise cannot bargain with your boundaries. Build a loop where outputs create dopamine. Pages written, calls closed, code merged, orders fulfilled. Track the count and let the count pat your back. Keep a small circle that celebrates standards, not exceptions, people who mirror your calm instead of your panic. When compliments arrive, enjoy them without changing the schedule. Applause does not move the gates. The second stack is focused diversification. Commit to a mission larger than any single relationship or client. Maintain 2 streams of meaningful work, primary craft and secondary build, so no single demand can ransom your calendar. Add 1 social lane that is not networked to your income, a sport, a class, a volunteer rhythm. When pressure spikes in one lane, the others absorb impact and your rules do not collapse to buy temporary peace. The third stack is crisis protocol. Before the storm, write the card. Who gets notified? What gates tighten? Which tasks shrink to essentials? Crisis language is pre-written and cool. Family emergency through Thursday. Urgent issues route to A. Non-urgent will be handled Friday. Reduce the cold frame to its bones. Morning light, 1 deep block, a body pulse, and a hard shutdown. Even at minimum settings, the policy survives the mood. People trust you because your rules survive your weather. Practice small drills, so the system becomes muscle. Once a week, run a mini fast from availability, 2 hours unreachable, and observe the cravings. Replace the urge to explain with a neutral auto-reply during Windows. Thanks for your message. Replies land after 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Once a month. Perform a quiet exit from something low stakes, a group chat that no longer serves, a recurring call without outcomes. Write the note, archive the thread, feel the lighter air. The frame strengthens by repeated, calm practice. Examples stabilize belief. A client sends midnight edits with urgent in all caps. You reply at 10 a.m. I respond during posted hours. Revisions will be reviewed inside the meeting corridor. If repeated, they move to email only for 2 weeks. A friend spams you during deep work. First time, I'm in a block Saturday at 2. Second time, spontaneity privileges pause for a month. A collaborator shares drafts publicly without approval. First, warning and private correction. Second, edit access removed for 2 weeks. Third, separation, courteously documented. The ladder climbs because it was written first. Run audits like a treasurer, not a poet. Each Friday, score completion. Windows kept, meetings stacked, deep blocks honored, penalties applied, exits executed. Write 1 adjustment sentence. Meetings leaked, enforce hard stops. If compliance drops 2 weeks in a row, simplify, tighter windows, fewer meetings, 1 deep block until rhythm returns. Complexity is a luxury the undisciplined cannot afford. The cold frame works because it converts feelings into fixtures, doorways, hours, sentences. You will still care, you just will not negotiate with every tug. Distance becomes infrastructure, not an attitude problem, and your warmth becomes rarer, therefore sweeter, because it is no longer bribed out of you by alarm. You are not becoming colder, you are cooling the room so thinking can breathe. People adjust. Chaos looks for warmer prey. Respect follows the path of least resistance, and the least resistance is a clear rule applied without heat. Cool rules, warm heart, steady power. In all chaos there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. You begin to see it when your calendar stops screaming. A white page with clean islands of focus becomes a shoreline where the mind can land. You place the phone outside the room like a guard at the gate. 2 hours for deep work, a deliberate break, then another stretch of undisturbed craft. The day stops behaving like a riot and becomes a procession. Fewer emergencies appear because you no longer reward them with instant entry. Evening light returns to your windows. You cook without rushing. You listen to a story all the way through. Peace is not an accident. It is the natural climate that follows disciplined distance. The quiet calendar gives you a life you can inhabit. A friend texts to gossip. You reply tomorrow when the frame allows. A co-worker pushes for just 5 minutes. You offer a purposeful slot next week. Meetings shrink to only what matters. Notifications arrive to a muted phone and wait their turn. In Jung's language, the self needs a vessel. The hours you protect are clay on the wheel. Without the walls rising, the water spills. With the walls, you hold shape. The reward is not sterile perfection, but a humane rhythm. You can take a slow walk after lunch and still finish the project before dusk. You can read 3 pages and remember them. You can end the day with energy still in your bones. Selective availability does not dim your warmth, it concentrates it. When you appear, you are fully present, and presence has heat. People relax around a person who owns his edges. Boundaries make the room smaller for imposters and larger for intimacy. The partner who once felt you everywhere now finds you truly here. Eyes lifted, phone quiet, attention unbroken. Affection brightens because it is no longer diluted by constant performance. You do not love from exhaustion. You love from a filled well. Even your friendships grow steadier. Because you are not always available, your yes arrives like sunlight after rain, and people step into it with gratitude instead of entitlement. Notice the paradox. Distance invites closeness. You stop rescuing every conversation from silence, and silence becomes a trustworthy ally. You decline the 7th event this week, and the one you attend gains meaning. Colleagues learn that you answer within the window you promised, not at the speed of panic. Family learns that your yes is a covenant, not a reflex. Strangers, sensing the clarity, treat you with the respect given to someone who knows his road. This is not isolation. It is clean contact. The shadow of neediness fades, and your warmth, lean, deliberate, honest, can finally be believed. Now you maintain it with a sovereign routine, the ordinary rituals that keep the cold frame intact. Review each night, scan the day like a captain reading the harbor. What ambushes tried to board you? Where did attention leak? Write 1 sentence of truth and 1 sentence of adjustment. Reset each morning. Name 2 non-negotiables and 1 generous act. The non-negotiables protect the throne. The generous act keeps the heart from hardening into ice. Recommit at midday. When fatigue tempts you to bargain with your standards, step away, breathe for 3 minutes, and return to the next right action. Small policies, kept daily, become a culture. Your home, your desk, your body learn the rhythm and defend it with you. This is how peace becomes policy. You are not improvising calm, you are administering it. You do not wrestle every storm, you build the harbor and charge admission. Your name begins to travel ahead of you, the person who replies with clarity, who arrives on time because he does not live on everyone else's clock, who can be warm because he is not thin. The world will test the gates, let it. Every calm no returns you to center. Every kept window widens your horizon. Hope here is not wishful thinking, it is disciplined order that makes life quieter and larger at the same time. And as your routine holds, your reputation will speak for you long before you enter the room. Hold the frame, warm the hearth, walk in peace.